What's up, KGS Headmaster here, and welcome to Finale Friday on this week's theme of Sherlock Holmes. What have we got for you today? Firstly, let's do some shout-outs. No gold, platinum, diamond commendation awards, and so let's just remind ourselves of how many champion challenges have been completed by all the people in the first to fourth year, I think, who have got those challenges set for them just over the last few weeks of lockdown. 190 champion challenges have been completed. A phenomenal amount. Let's see if we can get to 200 next week. I'm sure we can. So if you're in the first, second, third, fourth year and you haven't done one, or you've done one and there's another one you'd like to do, let's set a target to do one each. And if we all did that, if everyone did one next week, that would take us from 190 to 690. The challenge is set. I just want 200. I'm just saying how far you could go if you wanted to. A couple of birthdays. Zach in the first year, Ellie in the fourth year. Ellie, of course, one of those guys that ran virtually to Inverness and back to KGS for the NHS. So many happy returns to Zach and to Ellie. Hope you have a great day with your families. I hope despite lockdown, you have a great birthday. You get to touch base with your friends. And as ever, it's your birthday. So I hope it brings everything that your heart's desire. So Finale Friday, I'm going to try and give you as many clues, thoughts as possible towards tonight's quiz. So quiz, 4 o'clock, live stream, YouTube. Let's hope I don't lose the commentary this week. You might remember the James Bond quiz just before the half term. You guys telling me your scores, I had no idea. I have messages coming in from all over the place. So I couldn't see what was happening on screen, but I was getting it all on my phone. But I knew you were out there, so thank you for staying in touch. And congratulations to all those people who in the James Bond quiz got full mark. Absolutely unbelievable. I hope you're just as big a fans of Sherlock Holmes, or if not, that I can maybe give you a few clues to say right now. So who's the best Holmes? Is it Benedict Cumberbatch? Is it Jeremy Brett? Is it Basil Rathbone? Is it Johnny Depp playing Sherlock Holmes? It's got to be Cumberbatch, I think. I think there are classic performances from Brett and even more so from Rathbone. But I think for the modernity, for the sheer audacity of the way it's played in the modern age, bringing Sherlock Holmes back to life in the 21st century, I'm going to give it to Cumberbatch. In fact, I think he's a much better screen actor than he is stage actor. Sorry, he's a great actor, but I think that's probably going to be one of his defining and potentially greatest roles. Who's his best adversary? Well, we all think of Moriarty, but you've also got Irene Adler from A Scandal in Bohemia. Forever referred to by Holmes as the woman. We've got Lysander Stark, Colonel Lysander Stark from the Engineer's Thumb story, and we've got Colonel Sebastian Moran, a really fearsome character from The Adventure of the Empty House. You've got to go with Moriarty, James, Professor James, sometimes known as Colonel James, but Professor James Moriarty, the Reichenbach Falls, his nemesis, the man who plunges Holmes to his demise, only to find out that actually he didn't win after all. Holmes did. Although the character of a great book by Anthony Horowitz, more of that later, a book written from the Moriarty perspective. Who's the best sidekick? Is it Mrs. Hudson? I think an unsung hero of the Holmes novel. Love Mrs. Hudson. And when she pops up, she truly is a great sidekick. Is it the Baker Street Boys, the Baker Street Irregulars? Now, they got their own TV series in the late 20th century. And so they became really popular characters that lived on beyond the novels. Or is it, of course, John Watson? Or is it Inspector Lestrade who we're going to go for? It's got to be Dr. John Watson. So, we like Inspector Lestrade. He's the kind of, along with other police detectives, they're the foils for Holmes's genius. Watson, the silent companion who, takes along his revolver when required. But also we like Mrs. Hudson too, don't we? What's the best story? Now, according to Arthur Conan Doyle himself, he actually created the top 12 and said, these are my top 12 stories. I didn't agree with one of them, and if you can research this, you'll find out which one it is. I like 4 of his top 5. The Final Problem, The Red-Headed League. I think that's a fantastic story, by the way. It's been used in many devices and films since. The Speckled Band and The Dancing Men. Now, I nearly went with The Dancing Men, but I remember telling you earlier in the week The Speckled Band was my favourite. So I'm going to stick with that because it is between those two. So it's The Speckled Band is the number 1 story, but they're all great, and I think there are dozens of great stories. The best novel, Study in Scarlet, Valley of Fear, Sign of 4, Hound of the Baskervilles. I think the best known is The Hound of the Baskervilles, but I think Study in Scarlet is really a great book. I think probably goes 4 Valley of Fear, 3 Baskervilles, 2 Sign of 4, 1 Studying Scarlet. I think that's how it's got to go. The Best Imitator. Now, I mentioned Anthony Horowitz. Anthony Horowitz has written a few books, one of them being Moriarty, but his Sherlock Holmes book is House of Silk. And they're great books. Lots of other people. Michael Chabon, the American Pulitzer Prize winning author, wrote The Final Solution, as opposed to Holmes' short story, The Final Problem. That's a great book too. You've got the Russian version of Sherlock Holmes, Erast Fandarin from the Boris Akunin detective thriller novels. Great series of books, starting with The Winter Queen, when he takes on his character and he himself has a sidekick and is doomed to be kind of a single man, and he's a really great character. So Erast Fandarin, got by Boris Akunin. We got the novels by Anthony Horowitz. We got the Michael Chabon, and who's the other one I picked out here? Neil Gaiman, the great Neil Gaiman of Norse mythology and Good Omens. He wrote a really good book. Just consider it's The Case of Death and Honey. It's a great Sherlock Holmes novel, and there are again dozens of these, but I picked this out top 4. The winner, I'm going to go for Anthony Horowitz, although I do love Erast Fandarin, but he's kind of based on Holmes rather than is Holmes, so I'm going to go for Anthony Horowitz book House of Silk. Best movie, TV, you've got Elementary with Johnny Lee Miller, which I think is really good, quite like that. It gets panned in places, but I think it has highs and lows. You've got House MD, starring Hugh Laurie, friend of Stephen Fry, both great fans, particularly Stephen Fry, as we've mentioned. You've got Jeremy Brett's The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. You've got Basil Rathbone's Adventure of Sherlock Holmes. And, of course, you've got the Benedict Cumberbatch, Martin Freeman, the Gatiss Moffat Sherlock. I think I've got to go with the last one. Again, for exactly the same reasons I chose Benedict Cumberbatch in terms of it, bringing it to life, modernising the stories. I think absolutely fantastic. So they're my choices. Might give you some clues towards what's in tonight, just give you a bit more information. You could go on endlessly, but for now I'm going to finish on the quote, which is, because of tonight's quiz, Holmes to Watson when he calls him along, and Watson looks at him surprised and said, "What's that?" He said, and Holmes turns and says, "The game is afoot." So tonight, 4 p.m, the game is afoot. The quiz is on. Hope to meet you there, virtually, of course. Keep looking after yourselves. Keep looking after your family. Keep being kind to your friends. Keep working well and being happy. Have a great Friday and an even better weekend. I'll see you all soon. Headmaster out.